So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this. This is Matt Jabidi alongside the one, the only Smitty, representing both Soul Powers and Rebel Embassy.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What's up, Matt?
Yes, yes, yes. And this is another episode of Retrospect Reviews. And today, literally today, we are celebrating the 30th anniversary. Yes, today,
Amazing.
at the time of us recording this, of course, of
Amazing.
the debut album of the queen of hip hop and R&B herself, Mary J.
Mm,
Blige. What's
yes,
the 411?
yes,
Yes,
man. That's amazing. 30 years, 3 decades.
I
Wow.
know, I know.
Wow.
Now, this particular episode is going to be pretty interesting, right? Because I'll
Yeah.
just say this right off the bat, right?
Mhm.
I've lit. It's only been like a few days ago since I actually listened to that album, and I will get
Mm.
into detail why as well too, right? But yeah, so this is a little bit different, right? Because normally when it comes to these episodes here, I'm drawing from like hearing an album years ago or being
Yeah.
used to it, mean over the years. But this one is like, no, this is literally technically the first time I've listened to the album, and now I'm just kind of sharing my thoughts on it, right? Um,
Can I interrupt you real quick?
sure, sure.
I just have to ask this, and I chose not to ask you this when
Why?
when you told me that. Like, what is I kind of know your taste. I kind of know your taste. I kind of know your taste. Like, you definitely about that, dope stuff, right? What stopped you? What were you doing for you not to listen to What's the 411?
That that's a pretty interesting question, sort of hard to answer. What I would
Okay,
just say in a
we can
nutshell,
save
it's yeah,
it.
in a nutshell, what I would say is it's not so much like I didn't have it in my mind, It's just there
Okay,
was just so much so much other contemporary music I was drawn to, right? But
got you,
to be fair, it's not like I just like didn't care to listen to it. It's just
got you. No,
because of
definitely.
how my consumership of music was, especially with R&B. That's the thing. It's more like when
I
it comes to
told
rap, I always like seek out rap. I always listen to discographies like
yes,
right off the bat, right?
yes,
R&B, however, I take my time with. It's usually like if something new comes out, and it's like, okay,
got
now I should check everything else, right? So when it
you.
came to
Okay,
Mary, it was more like, all right, I hear singles, I love the singles, but for some odd reason, I just never got around to like listening to the albums themselves. But I just always had it in my bucket list, like, okay, I'm gonna listen to What If 411, I'm gonna listen to this, I'm gonna listen to that, but I just never
yes.
got around to them, right?
Well, to be honest, I'll be honest and say, and I said that because after I listened to it again today, I was like, wow. I'm not gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that a little later. But to be honest, the way that I consume, the way that you said that, I feel we come. The way that I consume music, I don't consume music the same way everybody else does too. And I totally get what you're saying. Like, you know, you being because I've discovered that you are truly a hip hop head. So
Yeah, yes, I am. So
so
hip hop
so
is primary always for
yeah.
me.
So at that time, even though it was, the queen of hip hop and R&B, it's like, okay, it's kind of hard for me to get off of this Arabian Rakim and this Pete Rock CL Smooth and go to can't you see what I've been
You know?
going through? Yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I get it. I
It's
get it.
it's it's
Totally.
it's, it's like that, Yeah,
Okay, dope,
you
dope,
actually hit the
dope.
nail on the head right there. So,
Gotcha, gotcha.
and again, because I'm always like trying to learn about different artists and discographies and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when it comes to favorite artists of mine, there's still like a few albums that I just haven't listened to, right? Just for
Yes,
various reasons, right? But
yes.
with her, it's just that I just never got around to just sitting on and saying, okay, let me start, right?
Hmm.
So literally this week, in preparation for this episode here, yeah, I finally did that, right? So,
Okay.
but what I will say, just to kick things off, right? Because I know you have, like probably like a much more rich history in terms of listening to her music, right? For me, it was just always about hearing her music on the radio, right? Or just
Hmm.
seeing her music videos on TV, right?
Hmm.
So the funny thing is, right? Very first video that I saw from her was a particular song called Be Happy. That was like my
Okay.
first ever introduction to that, to her, right?
Okay.
and I absolutely love that song. I absolutely love that video. I still remember that video. I still
Mm.
remember that sort of light blue filter that he used throughout that entire video. Her
Yeah.
standing up on this mountain and singing. I never forgot that, right? But for me,
Gotcha.
that was my very first introduction to her, right? And then, over the years, you would just hear other songs from her, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like on the radio and whatnot, right? And then, of course, there were her collaborations that she did with, artists like Method Man, Diddy,
Yeah.
Mob Deep, just a lot of people, right? So yes, I
Yeah.
always knew about her music. It's just, again, I just never sat down and really soaked in everything, right?
Gotcha.
But that being said, though, when I finally got cable, right, like in the house,
Hmm.
there was a little show called 106 in Park, right, and it
Okay.
used to have like these, it used to have like throwback joints. That's what it was called, right?
Hmm.
And I'll never forget that was the first time that I actually saw Real Love, which was one of the main singles off of this album
Mm.
here, right? I was like, oh, okay,
Yes.
that's how she looked like when she was like young. Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right, and then
Yeah.
in the 2000s, it was just me, like, just gravitated to her singles. So whether it's, No More Drama or Dance for Me, like a collabs
Yes.
with Ja Rule, Rainy Days,
Hmm.
just so much that she did in the 2000s and whatnot, right? I was even more surprised when she actually like got into acting, right? So like I
Mm.
would see her in shows like Mudbound. I was actually like really amazed by her acting there. She was in a Netflix series called The Umbrella Academy, which I actually enjoyed. A sci-fi series. But she was great in it. She was
Mm.
actually an assassin in that, right? A really badass
Oh
assassin
wow.
in that, right?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She just
Wow.
showed so much range in that, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
even as she got older, she just always found ways to make herself relevant as well too, right? I know that she
Yes.
has a new album out called Good Morning Gorgeous that is still on my
Mm.
to listen list right now, you know what I mean? But
Hmm. Hmm.
she's still doing stuff, right? But for
Yeah.
me, the big takeaway from, just her career in general was just, well, two things. One, how she was just able to bridge that gap between hip hop and soul music slash R&B, right? And
Yeah.
it's not just about, singing over R&B beats which have like a hip hop flavor to it, which we'll talk about here with this album here, but
Hmm.
also just collaborating with various rappers as well too, right? So case
Yeah.
in point,
Yeah.
Method Man, You're All I Need to Get By. I mean, that is just a timeless song in
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
her just being on the first track of Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt, with Can't Knock the Hustle, right? And
Mm.
it's funny
Hmm.
too, because
Hmm.
there's just a couple of things I'll mention before we get to your points.
Hmm.
There's a particular cadence, I think it is, that she does in the opening that
Hmm.
actually was off of My Life, which is her second album, right? And I was
Okay.
surprised by that. Like, wow, okay, okay, that she's kind of incorporating some of her music into that
Yeah.
track as well, too, right?
Yeah.
Um, but let's touch quickly on My Life now. So, in preparation for this, I only got the time to listen to two albums, which was this one here, 411, and My Life. And I'm gonna say something that you may agree with, but
Okay. Okay.
I know both of those albums are regarded as classics. Like right now,
Hmm.
Rolling Stone has them as one of the two of the greatest, sorry, of all time, like greatest records, right?
Hmm.
But for me, if I had to pick one of them, and this is coming from somebody
Hmm.
who still has listened to the rest of her discography, I'm gonna have to go in My Life, man. That was
Hmm.
just such a great album, though, and of course that's where Be Happy came from, right? But for me, it was just
Yeah.
more to like gravitated towards more like soul music, right? So there was a lot of like
Yeah.
R&B throwback joints and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Like stuff like You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, I'm
Hmm.
Going Down, you know what I mean? It just had
Hmm.
this old
Hmm.
school vibe to it, right? It wasn't too reliant on hip hop, right? Even though it was there in snippets, right? But
Yeah.
it was just really just her showing how much of a powerhouse of an artist she was, when she literally bared her soul on that album, you know what I mean? Because like if you know
Yeah.
behind the scenes, she just went through a lot, clinical depression, drugs,
Hmm.
alcohol,
Hmm.
an abusive relationship with her now ex Casey, right? Who shows up
Yeah.
on What If 411, right? And just
Hmm.
hearing it or just like just knowing what she went through and how she was just able to just create great music out of that, dude. Just blew me away. Like I absolutely love this album, right? Not to say that I don't love 411, but
Yeah.
some of My Life, boy, My Life really, really got to me. Boy. I love that, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
that in a nutshell is just my run through of just how I consume her music, right? But in close to close things off, I will listen to her other albums as well too. Because again, I
Mhm.
just know like singles and stuff that I heard off her radio, but I know that there's a lot more gems within those within that discography of hers that I just need to
Mhm.
discover, right? So
Yeah,
E,
definitely.
I know that you have a much, like I said, a much grander history with her music. So yeah, take it
Mhm.
away. How do you get into her stuff? How her stuff inspired you? And yeah, 411. How you got into that?
Well, I'll say this right here to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying. Mary, I believe that when Mary came around, and shout out to Puff, man. I still call him Puff. People's
It's
they call him
called Diddy.
P Diddy. P Diddy. I think the only person that because Diddy got so commercialized. But the only person that I love to hear say Diddy is when Black Rob said, "We run the city on the phone with
Oh,
Diddy."
from Get This Money. Yeah, yeah, I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah, 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 yeah.
R.I.P. to Black Rob, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P. R.I.P. Like Black Rob, and not getting away from what we're talking about, but Black Rob's single "Whoa" is by
Yeah.
far like literally like that's one of the best songs period, best hip hop songs period. But
Yeah, 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 bar none.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I made a mistake, guys. It's Let's Get It. That's the name of the song. Yeah,
Let's get it. Oh
I
yeah,
confused myself with Slum Villages. Get This Money, by the way.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's hey yo. Side note, side note. You know that Dilla sampled Herbie Hancock for that song.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What's the name? What's the guy name? What's the game? Thundercat. I seen this video. Thundercat was doing a session. He was in a session. I think it was him and Flying Lotus and and Herbie Hancock. He was like, "Yo," he talking about Dilla and stuff. He said, "You never heard Get This Money?" And Herbie Hancock was like, "What you talking about?" Boom, boom, and then he played it. So that's some other stuff. But okay, let me get back to what we are talking about. What's the 411? What's the 411, huh? What's the 411? You gotta go. Like, okay. All
Yep.
right. Yeah. But Puff, Puff, when he got married, I think it was ingenious because hip hop, that was 91, 92, 93, something like that. Hip hop was like beginning like to be what it is. It was the beginnings of the juggernaut that it is today. And
Right.
he was like, yo, let me put this female, which there has been singing on hip hop tracks. Shout out, rest in peace, TJ Swan, whose song on MC Shan stuff, Left Me Lonely, for the people that really, you know, study hip hop and stuff. That's like 85. It's like 85, 86, maybe 84. But
Oh
it's
wow,
been,
wow.
yeah. TJ Swan. It's a song he did called, he did other stuff.
Oh,
Now,
he was. Well, okay. I'll bring it up in the review itself. He was on Bismarck. He's going off. I know who you're talking about.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Make
R.I.P.
the
to
music,
Bismarck as
make
well.
yeah, make the music.
Think
He
about
had a little
this. Yep. Yeah.
bit. Oh man, and
And he
which
was in my favorite track
yes,
off that album, Nobody Beats the Biz. I
yes.
love
Nobody
that song.
beat
Mm.
the nobody. Yeah, see, yeah, you know your shit, man. You know your shit, yo. Yes, and that Puff, being young and boom, I got somebody. I think it was ingenious. I can honestly tell you, Matt, that the way that I consume music is very like honestly, to be honest, I can't even say I heard every song on What's the 411, but I can't sit here and say that I got the album. Like I heard it was just so popular. I'd be around somebody. They had the tape, they had the CD,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, I can't sit here and say like boom, and I can't sit here and say I remember Be Happy, My Life. Definitely remember a lot of dope Chucky Thompson records that he did with Mary and stuff. But as far as I can honestly say that I've heard a lot of Mary's music, but I can, after re-listening to What's the 411, getting ready for this dope conversation, I was like, damn, like that was the one that and I feel what you're saying. Like musically, I believe that Puff had an idea which brought her into, like, it was something new. Who was called the queen of hip hop? We already had the queen of soul, Aretha Franklin, rest in peace. But now we got this new thing, the queen of hip hop and R&B. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It was ingenious, but she was so special in what she did. It was like, I think the powers that be was like, yo, you are the queen of hip hop and R&B, but I think you got something else too. Therefore, that's why I hear my life like, okay, we about to stretch your range a little
Yes,
more.
yes.
Yeah, we about to stretch your range more than what it is. So yeah, my history, like listening back to that album, bro, I'm telling you, bro, I heard like this was the time when, shout out my group, my first group, they got us to Atlanta from North Carolina, is Mob Capella. That was me, my brother, two of my best friends. DJ 110 was in there, and my cousin. Like, hearing that album and just re-listening to that, I'm like, wow, this was our time when we started discovering, like, yo, this because we was singing in gospel groups, and I was rapping, 11, 12, 13, 14. But like, wow, like, so yeah, Mary, what's the 411? Going back and listening to it, man, it brought back so many memories, man. Straight up, it brought back so many memories. So many.
I know. I know it myself for you, man. So but before we begin though, like how has her music, impacted you over the years, especially in your career, in terms of hip hop and R&B?
Mary impacted me because I can say, like, first and foremost, like, that I can always, I've said this for years to whoever wanted to listen, not too much out loud, but to a few people out loud. Like, Mary embodied what I said. I loved a female that loved hip hop, you know. And Mary, her whole style, her vibe, her cadence, and everything, and how she got down. I was man, like she has, like, using the sample of the Biz Markie beat, make the music for, like,
Mm-hmm.
just distinct sounds. Like, I say, I think it was genius of Puff to I mean, he pulled the top billing beat for Real Love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. He pulled that. He pulled that make the music. So he pulled all the right things that was like, yo, no, and like I say, coming from your world, like, you was like, yo, man, like, I ain't too quick to be jumping on this girl singing. It ain't. I know she's doing a hip hop R&B stuff, but I'm over here. Me personally, it was like, I was, I started singing when I was 5. I started rapping when I was like 11 and 12. So I have a lot, all that stuff in me. So hearing that, it was like, okay, cool. And then, of course, Jodeci just shot me through the roof to be like, oh my God, to be able to do this singing with this hip hop groove, and they're from North Carolina like me. So, but overall, man, Mary, when I listened to her today, I was like, wow. Mary's song from the heart. To me, she sung from the heart. When you listen to Mary, and I'm being honest, you can hear Mary hit these flats. She can hit some flats, just like Alicia Keys hit. They have a tendency to hit flats. Now, if you say, who do you want to hear first, Faith or Mary? I'm going Faith. I'm going Faith.
All right.
First and foremost. But Mary is in a class by herself. She's in a class by herself. I think Mary, she comes from singers, and she learned and got better and better over time. She was never bad, but she got better and better over time. But somebody like Faith is like, wow, like the tone, and she just owned it. But Mary is still in a class by herself. It's like it took a Mary, even though a Faith, I think, has a better vocal tone and everything. It took a Mary. It took a Mary to help establish somebody like a Faith. Mary is the queen. Period. She's the queen. She's the queen of what she does. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a good thing that you brought up Faith Evans as well too, because it's really interesting how she just came like right afterwards. I don't know, like almost like if we call him Diddy, always just wanted to try this whole Queen of Hip Hop soul again. So this is what came out of it,
Well, I think a side thing as far as that goes, Diddy Puff, he was when he had Mary, he was with Uptown Records. Rest in peace to Andre Harrell. He was like vice. He was like at one time he was like head of A&R, then whatever. But he groomed the Marys, the Jodeci's, you know what I'm saying, the 5 MCs, and so Mary was signed to Uptown, in which Andre had him to like groom her and build her to where they were. Puff and Mary had a serious, cool relationship, and they had a bond. And it's a video out there where, eventually, Andre tells him like, "Yo, it can only be one lion. It can only be one lion in the jungle." And he was like, "I gotta let you go." So he let him go, and he developed Bad Boy. So when he developed Bad Boy, of course, he's like, "Oh shoot, I was the one that kind of nurtured that hip hop and R&B with Mary. I need my own now." And it's a video where Mary is like, Mary took offense to that. She took offense to him. Yeah. She took offense to him bringing in Faith, and it was, if I'm not mistaken, she was like, "Oh, you trying to get somebody to be like me," but it was like it was two different entities. It's just like people think that Run DMC was signed to Def Jam because Russell Simmons started Def Jam, and his baby brother is Joseph Simmons, but Run DMC was signed to Profile, but they got managed through Russell and Rush Management and stuff like that. So yeah, she took offense. She took offense to like, yo, what's she trying to do? What's she trying to do? So yeah, man. So yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, that's crazy, man. That's a lot of backstory though that I wish I honestly knew.
Yeah, man.
I should mention as well too. There was also a remix album that I think it's only like years later that I actually realized existed. Were you familiar with the remix album at all, or you just more knew about the original?
Yes, I literally and this is my approach. So don't think it's not it's a slight, like, even when I do records, like I literally if I have to do a hook for somebody, or I have to do a feature, or even my personal songs, I literally listen to the track for seconds, and be like, okay, cool. And then I don't get on it until it's time for me to get on it. So in saying that, when you told me about we was gonna do this anniversary review, I knew it, but I don't jump on it real quick. I actually listened already. I had already heard both of them before, but I actually listened to both of them this morning while I was driving.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I re-listened to both of them this morning while I was driving to my first stop with my job. And not saying that this is the cool thing to do, but I actually wrote my notes while I was driving, and So
That's a cool thing to do.
it's not cool at all. It's not. It's not. Well, it's not. It's not cool at all. It's not cool at all. But it's been many projects, but 90% of the whole Soul Projects album, the Soul Powers album, was written me driving to doing a job. I wrote most of that album in my car. It's crazy, but I need to stop. Yeah, I need to stop. So everybody who's listening to this, do not be texting and driving and writing stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I have the guardian angels of Matthew Bailey who pray for me every morning that I told. So, but yes, I knew about What's the 411 remix, and then when I listened to it, it tripped me out, man. It tripped me out. Yes, it tripped me out because I listened to the original, and I'm like, wow. And I wrote notes, and I wrote notes, and I wrote notes. And one of the first things that popped in my head was like, oh my God, like there are very few albums out there that literally every song has some type of presence. Reminisce, Real Love, You Remind Me, Sweet Thing, which is the Shaka Khan remake. Oh man, it was like damn. And then when I was writing my notes for the first album, I'm like, the presence of so many hip hop cats, like nobody was doing that. Like she had Hell on the whole thing with Leave a Message was crazy. She had Hell leaving a message. She had my man Dave Maceo from De La Soul leaving a message.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Little Sean leaving a message. Puff leaving a message. CL Smooth. I mean, it was like, no, but then again, that might. But then when it went on to the What's the 411 remix, they had Big leaving a message, and I'm like, yo, this is like, wow. And then I'm listening to it because I'm like, yo, I forgot how iconic this album was because I'm listening to the remix album, and then it's like, oh shit, okay. When they did a remix album, they get a lot of those records toward the club, like that.
Yes.
Dum, 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 dum. Then I'm like, I forgot it was Look Up in the Sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, it's Mary J. And I'm like, yo, I forgot.
That's the only. All right. So prior to listening to this album, that was the only thing that always reminded me. Oh wait, there's a remix album to this. That Biggie verse. That Biggie verse always.
Yes, man. Yeah. I forgot that he had did that. And then the other side of it, and I wrote this in my notes today too. Grand Poobah was arguably the hardest MC in the game at that time.
Wow.
Like, yes, man, look, man, Grand Poobah, real to real, like Grand Poobah was that guy,
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
all right. Well, I was gonna bring it up in when you talk about that track itself, right? But his 2000 album from 1995 is arguably one of the most underrated rap albums ever, and it's one of my all-time favorite. Like what he did on that. It was like these sort of like smooth, sort of pre-neo soul kind of breezy R&B, rap production basically, and he just flowing over all these tracks. You know what I mean? Like, I like it. You know what I mean? Love. I like it. Right? But yeah, what he did on that album was amazing. It was forward thinking in my opinion. You know?
Amazing. And you know what? And you know what it did, Matt? When I heard Poobah, and I think it was like the last song on the first album.
Yeah.
I immediately, like, as soon as I heard it, and that's the beauty of music, and that's the beauty of, no matter how you look at it, I think it's gonna all start really start working out when it comes to streaming and all that type stuff. I think it's already working, but I think it's gonna work even better for even the more independent up and comers are, like most of us are. That's the beautiful thing. It's like you hear something and you can actually go. I said, man, let me pull Grandpa on Apple Music, and I had to listen to the 2000 album. I had to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? What goes around comes back around again. You know what I'm saying? I had to hear it. I had to hear it. He said, Step Boogie, you with man? Oh man. So yeah, he was arguably the hottest, if not the hottest at that time. And Puff knew it. He got on there, and I forgot how classic, like I put that song in the same vein, and probably Meth has an edge because that song right there, that all I need. But I put that song in the same category with Mary collaborating with a MC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, I put both of those records in the same vein, and just to speak a little bit, All I Need and Mel, that was and this is something that people don't probably really think about. Mary is known for doing her own dance, and how she grew. That's the thing about Mary too. Mary was like, it was the first time you seen this R&B singer who really could be herself, where when she vibed, like she bopped like she was an MC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you remember when she was when she did a video with Meth, she's sitting up there with that I think she had a bucket hat and she just just bouncing.
She just nodded her head. That's all.
Yeah, just nodding her head, man. It's like, oh man, that's that feeling. That's that feeling. And then you have Meth. Meth is known for doing his own dance. Meth, he's so damn huge now, but I know when he was like slim, he probably still does the same thing. But he always look at any of these old Wu-Tang videos. Meth had his own way of moving and dancing. Those two together,
like literally when magic. He's moving, it's almost like he's doing like this sort of kung fu stuff, like with his hands.
Yes. Smooth as hell though. Smooth as hell. Like I always love that about Meth. And Mary the same way. I'm the type person where, for myself, like I believe it or not, I like to dance too. But I never did like the latest dance. I kind of do my own thing, and I always see how Mary did that. Mary always she did her own thing. Like oh man, oh man. I'm so glad we're doing this right here, man. I appreciate it.
I know I could just hear that passion in your voice, man. That's why I brought you on in the first place. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
But let's jump into the album proper. So as you mentioned before, leave a message. That is basically the opening skit, right? And here's basically where we just have like a bunch of popular figures in the hip hop game at that time, just leaving voice messages for Mary, right? And something I didn't even know about till like, in preparation for this. Mary actually worked as a 411 operator, though. Hence the title. I did not even know.
Yep.
That is just mind blowing. I mean, but I love how she kind of, incorporates a bit of herself, her backstory into this album here, right? So yeah, as you mentioned, Diddy, he makes a guest spot here. I was surprised to hear Christopher Williams, though, aka Kareem from New Jack City. Guy whose song "I'm Dreaming" still one of the greatest R&B/New Jack Swing songs ever. And by the way, I'm a huge New Jack City fan. It's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Nino Brown is an icon for me.
Oh man!
But yeah.
We gotta talk about that. We have to please invite
I actually reviewed it.
Please invite me back.
Reviews, man. But yeah. Eric Sermon, Andre Harrell himself, right?
Yes, rest in peace.
Heavy D, rest in peace, right?
Yes.
De La Soul, DJ Clark Kent, and even CL Smooth, though, who like to this day, I just always wish that Pete Rock and CL stayed together as a group. Like I
Yeah.
understand creative differences and all that, but my God, when they were together, it was like, ugh,
Oh
you
my
know what I mean?
God, man. Oh look. Okay. See now we. Well, I'll say this, man. Man, I totally appreciate you and what you do, man. And I always love the passion in which how you do it. And I tell people, when you want to have somebody, check out a review. Like this guy right here is bar none, like one of the best, man. And I
Thank you,
say,
thank you. I
yeah,
love these compliments, man.
yeah, man. And I say that, man. And I keep it in the vein as the whole Eli Brown thing. Like when you see greatness, man. I don't like everybody wants to be heard. People want to be heard as a critic or a reviewer or a singer, but you still have to be a fan of greatness. But I say this. I just want to throw this in real quick with the whole Pete Rock CL Smooth. We talking about it now, so we got to get it out. That's the same time like they like they reminisce over you is it's like literally one of the best hip hop songs. Period. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying?
it's timeless, timeless.
It's timeless, and I feel the same way. I heard things behind the scenes about how some of the dealings of Pete and how things got thrown off because they actually still like do a show here and there and stuff, but some other things got thrown off. But man, straighten it out. That music like
Dude,
that,
dude,
dude.
those horns, that.
Straighten it out. Oh my God. Oh man.
Oh my God! Oh
Oh
my
my
God!
God. Oh my God. And see, and I know to the people who are listening to this fantastic show, my man Matthew Bailey, um, I'm jumping all over the place, but it's all coming together. This
Yeah.
because he set this whole thing up to talk about the anniversary, the 30th anniversary. Congratulations to Mary J. Blige. What's the 411? It all goes together because at that time, we're hearing they reminisce over you. What's the one
Straighten it out.
straighten
Yeah.
it out. We're hearing Dwick. We're hearing Dwick by Gangstar. We're hearing
Oh,
how could
I'm just glad that you're bringing up all these titles because
oh
yeah, these
man.
rappers are gonna show up in this review here. So
Yes,
yeah, thank you.
yes. How I could just kill a man, Cypress Hill, all that stuff, man. Like this was the time, like literally, and then I'm gonna get back to Mary. Literally, me and 110 graduated together, and we did a show. They had a thing called Project Graduation, where all the high schools in the area, in North Carolina, where in our area, North Carolina, I think it was Wake. Yeah, it might have been other parts, but it was Wake County where we were, and they did a talent show amongst the schools. And I came up with the idea. I said, yo, make a tape. Now this was the cassette tape time. I said 110, make a tape where it was me, myself. I forgot what I think I was going by Sable then. My name was Sable. We did it was me, Corey Smith, Ty Holloway, and Shane Helms. Side note, Shane Helms went on to become Hurricane Helms for the WWE. He
Oh,
fought The
okay.
Rock. Yeah, he fought The Rock, Ric Flair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, I
I
mean,
know. Okay, I know you're referring to. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. The
Hurricane Helms.
hurricane, right? Guy dressed
Yeah,
in
yeah, the
green. Okay.
Hurricane. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a good friend of mine, and he could rap. He could rap. He could rap. He
Okay,
rap way better.
that is mind blowing.
Yes,
That's
yes.
mind blowing to me.
Dude, he could rap. He could rap way better than I know. John Cena started rapping, but he could kill him. Okay, real quick. And we're still cool to this day. Matter of fact, we had him on one of the Dat Feeling podcasts. But I asked 110. I said, yo, when we do this show, I said we got 4 rappers. I said play this beat right here for this artist. Play this beat right here. Boom, boom. We had the Duet instrumental. How I Can Just Kill a Man instrumental by Cypress Hill and Duet by Gangstar. I had they reminisce over you, and I forgot Shane Hurricane Helms. He went last. I forgot what beat he used, but they cut the damn mic off before he could even go. Straight up.
Oh
Cut the
man.
damn cut the mic off before he could go. It was great. But Mary, man, the guests, all the guests up there. Just mind blowing. And the thing that stuck out to me too, Matt, is that when I listened to it, like, damn, like icons that are not here with us no more, Andre and Have. Like these guys were icons, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that touched me right there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we are talking about this album here, it just all these individuals who appeared in it, though, it just marked like this really like integral period as far as hip hop. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
yeah, we
yes,
always have to stop ever so often to show these
yes.
guys some love. You know what I mean? But
Gotcha.
now let's get to, well, the album kicks off proper now with Reminisce. Right? This is actually the third single from the album. It's produced by Dave Jam Hall, and it features this very nocturnal and slightly foreboding instrumental, right? Like you could pretty much vibe and chill to it.
Yes.
But for a R&B / New Jack Swing type of beat, it's very moody and dark too, you know what I mean? And it actually utilizes the drum pattern from MC Light Stop, Look, Listen. And it's one of those samples that you really have to literally stop, look, and listen, right? While you're listening to this track here, right? Lyrically, Mary pretty much is just telling this guy that she just wants to take this relationship to the next level, right? But it all depends on how you view the song. So it's either she is in a relationship or she was in it. It all depends on your point of view, right?
Yeah.
But it is implied that the relationship didn't work out the first time, right? Because there's a line where she says, "I don't remember how we fell apart," right? But she is willing to try again with this guy. Hence the line, reminisce on the love we had, right? Overall, it's a great opener to this album here. And it's funny, right, that the title is Reminisce, right? Because on the remix, we get this more upbeat, more up-tempo version of the original beat, and CL Smooth, who was synonymous with Troy at the time, right? The Reminisce over you makes an appearance, right? I love how in the very end of his verse he says, "When they reminisce over you, my God," you know what I mean? So I love that.
When they reminisce over you, my God, yes.
So what were your thoughts on Reminisce, right? And you can mention the remix too, as well.
Man, Reminisce. Yes. The remix was like, damn, like it's sometimes like in the 90s, the remixes seem to take records even to some, even if it didn't surpass the original, it still did something. It did something like, wow, like the 90s was the years of the remix. Reminisce to me, man, re-listening to that, I put in my notes, man, I said it had the ultimate bop. It had the ultimate bop. Reminisce on the love we had. And it's like
so catchy. So catchy.
Yes. Like I'm gonna tell you the part and as I was listening to Mary, I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much I was inspired in certain things that I do as an artist. But when she said, I can feel the heat when we shared each other. It's it's certain licks that she did that was like, for me, I'm very big on like, yes, it's entertainment that we do, but then you can be entertained or you can have an experience. And she totally was like, and this is coming from somebody that's like, yeah, I love Mary, but if I had to pick, and I seen Mary live, you know what I'm saying? If I had to pick,
well, I of course you saw her live.
Yeah,
I knew this.
I saw her live, man. I saw her doing a dance, man, and all that, But I'm the person that like, yo, if you tell me Mary or Faith, I've been saying this for years, like I got to hear Faith first, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't realize how powerful she was to me and my aspect. So to ask the question again, Reminisce, that was like the ultimate I think that was one of the first songs, man, that the heads was like, because there was a time that you had to be, ice grilling and you hard and stuff. But it's like,
Yes.
this Mary joint right here, woo, yeah, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Reminisce, Reminisce, man. Reminisce is I forgot how much I love it. I just said that.
Yeah. This song is great,
Yeah.
man. So up
And
next we have
CL killed it. CL killed it on the
yes on
remix.
that remix, man.
Yes,
And
yeah,
it makes perfect sense for him to be in it, right? So
yes.
up next we have Real Love, right? As I said at the very
Mm-hmm.
beginning, while this was my official introduction to Mary, right? I know for a lot of people this was their official introduction to her, man. And it's just a fun, upbeat, and generally sweet track by that bass
Mm-hmm.
line for Audio 2's Top Billing and
Yes.
MC Light's 10%. This is bouncy that you know what I'm talking about,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
piano keys, infection, that dun, 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 dun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Mary's performance all throughout this track is so captivating, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's just so convincing on this track here, because yeah, she's searching for real love, right? And she believes she found it
Yeah.
with this guy who caught her eye, right? The video is iconic, much so to the point
Yes.
that you'll be copying those dance moves that Mary and the dancers
Yes.
did,
Yes.
you know,
And the look she had in
and the
there.
look, right? But
Yeah.
the interesting aspect about this song, I didn't even know this, so thank you, genius, for pointing this out to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, is that the song is a lot deeper than you think, because like early, like
Mm-hmm.
when she was in her like about to start her career, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was basically jerked, around by industry cats, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
the song itself more or less describes how she felt emotionally at that time, right? So
Yeah.
apparently, like she was so emotional, she was so swept up during the recording of this song, she'll have like tears in her eyes while she was like performing, right?
Mm.
And it's really that raw emotion that she gives onto this track that makes it so heartfelt, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I
Wow.
mean you could bop it, you could dance it, but there's a lot of real stuff going on there too, you know what I mean? And that's
Wow.
really amazing though, that you could have fun with it, but like she's just pouring herself out there. I mean, that's really
I can
amazing.
hear that. I can hear that. Now that you say that, I can hear that, man. I can hear that. Yeah. That's wow.
Yeah. And lastly, the Daddy O remix is pretty dope as well. I love how it samples
Yes.
Betty Wright's R.I.P. to Betty Wright, Clean Up Woman, and
Mhm.
EPMD, So What You Sing, right? And of course, Biggie's contribution to that track, right? Which was the one
Yes.
which was the one moment where I was like, oh yeah, there's a remix album, and I just always remember that there was because of Biggie's contribution to that track. So yeah,
Yes. Yes.
what are your thoughts on Real Love and to an extent the remix?
Well, I mean, like off top, like you said, like the use of 10% this and top billing was like, damn, damn, that was dope. That was dope. And you know, the hook, the hook was so catchy. The hook was so catchy
I know,
that
right?
yes, it was so catchy. And to be honest, like I say, during that time, that was a time when me and 110, we would literally go to clubs where we would not dance, but we would just stand like side by side and listen to the music. So, truth be told, like Real Love had a like, it had an upbeat vibe, but it wasn't like I was running to the dance floor. But to sit and listen to it, like wow. But I wrote this down in the clubs, and my experience. I honestly feel like that the remix, the and shout out Ron G, which who I don't think is talked about enough as a mixtape DJ. Um, that what they use the sample, like we said, from EPMD and then Big. It's like, yo, man, I remember like listening back to it now. I remember where, okay, the original killed it, but then they played the remix. When they played the remix, every spot that I was in, when they played that remix, it was at the height of the energy in the club. They didn't play.
Wow.
Yeah, they didn't play it. They didn't like, you go on the spot back in the days. I'm pretty sure they do the same thing. But when you go on the spot back in the days, when you go in there, they're playing like new music. this dope, and then they get some stuff that kind of this bubbling, and then they get to the hot shit, and then they get to the ones the shut down the party type stuff.
Yes,
look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, and then you literally like the DJ is like he playing big. Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Turn it down. Oh, this favorite J in the blue. He's like, oh, whoa, oh man. So yeah, so hearing that today, I'm like, damn. And I saw that too, comparing the original, the OG version, and the remix. It was like, damn, this is powerful, because I didn't realize how many damn hits she had on the first album, and then Puff them came back with a remix album that they created even harder sounding music. It's like,
yes.
Yeah, what the hell? Man,
Yeah,
the 90s, man.
Did
The 90s, bro.
I think he had an album back in the 2000s called "We Made the Remix." Oh, I don't want to say
Yeah,
we.
I invented the remix or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yep. And he was, and truth be told, he was the one that he had. Speaking of EPMD, he had Jodeci to use the sample "You're a Customer" for "Come and Talk to Me."
Right.
Right.
Okay. I know that sample. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So up next we have "You Remind Me," right? This is actually her first single and a song from the soundtrack to a little movie back in '91 called Strictly Business, which starred Tommy Davidson. Never saw it, but I always knew about its existence, right? It's one of those things, right? Like when you're a kid, you just kind of see posters for people.
It's
but
funny.
I was like, I just never got around to see it, right?
Yeah.
For me, right, the one thing that I noticed instantly, right? Remember, this is the first time I'm listening to this track, right? Is a rather subtle use of a sample from Rufus Thomas's "Do the Funky Penguin," right? It's that intro that he uses a breakbeat on Biz Markie's Biz Dance Part 1. You would hear it in Ghostface Killer and RZA's The Green. It's that doo-doo, doo-doo, boom, ba-doom, doo-doo, doo-doo, boom, ba-doom. Right. I love both songs, right? But when I heard that, you can just hear it very faintly. I was like, wait, now what? Okay. But anyway, again, it's one of those stop, look, and listen sort of moments, right? But I don't know how I picked up on it, but I did, right? The beat itself is smooth and laid back, but the drums have a particular bounce, right? And like Real Love, it's really, it's just embodies that whole aesthetic of the album where it's marrying hip hop beat bricks with R&B grooves, right? Mary kills it on this track, though. I love basically she's talking about running into this random guy whose walk, talk, and overall mannerisms remind her of somebody that she was in a relationship with early on in life, right? Says, is it a dream or deja vu, right? And I love how she interprets Patrice Rushen to remind me, that you remind me. I love that, right? And that's coming from somebody who loves the original track, right? On the second verse, she gives this impression that she really thinks that this guy is her old flame, right? So she says, "Sweet baby darling, come on, just stop playing with my mind, cause for you, boy, I don't know." And it may sound a little silly in retrospect, though, but I mean, these things happen. They happen. I mean, it happened to us, right? So, dope track, and it's one that you could, like, for me, I could just sort of kick my feet up and chill out to, right? The remix is pretty interesting though, because we get like a slightly longer and altered version of the original beat, and we hear Craig Nice of all people this song. He's just he's just doing that usual like how he raps, right? Somehow it works. It actually works because he's energetic, right? But it actually works. I don't know how, but I enjoyed You Remind Me. Any thoughts on this track?
Well, I'll say this way. I saw one of my guys, shout out Marcel McCoy. He told me he was like kicking it with Greg Nice, and I was at his place and in a spot in Georgia, and we was on a patio, and I look down there, I see Greg Nice taking out the trash, bro. Like straight up, real talk, bro. What's
You
up,
you you,
bro?
you saw Craig Nice taking out trash. Wow.
Yes, sir. Greg
I
Nice
envy you.
from Nice and Smooth, bro. Yo, real talk. Um, man, I'm gonna tell you, when I got to You Remind Me, and I forgot that Greg did that remix, but by the time I got to You Remind Me, that's like, and literally, and you brought it up to affirm that, to confirm that. I forgot, like that was one of the first songs that the people heard from Mary because they put it on the Strictly Business soundtrack. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Yeah, and by that time, bro, just and this will be short and sweet. I just put into parentheses like, yo, so many hits. By that time, like we don't went through a lot of songs, and I'm like, damn, I forgot about You Remind Me. So yeah, that was that was just that was just a hit, man. It was we were hearing something that we had never heard before, and she pulled it off very well.
Yes, yes, she did. She did.
Yes, yes.
All right. So up next, we this is just basically an interlude. So I'll just mention it quickly and then I'll jump into the next track.
Mhm.
It's called Intro Talk. This is where we hear Busta Rhymes, who was still with leaders in the school at that time. And
Okay.
basically, he's just kind of
Yeah.
preparing the listener for, I guess, the B side of the album. It's
Yes.
it's like part him talking, but part rapping, right?
Yeah.
Now, in retrospect, I imagine a lot of people skipping this track, but I actually do like the beat in it. I think that the production is great.
Yeah.
But I just
Oh yeah.
love like Busta's approach to it, where it's just basically like I just want to rap over this, but like no, 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 this is not
Yeah.
my record. It's
Yeah.
Mary's, right? So I'm just like
Busta
talking.
Rhymes be spitting
Want
on
to,
them.
yeah. I'm just more or less like keep getting everybody ready for the next part of the album. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I just want to say something, right? And
Yes.
there's even a
Yes.
moment where
Yes.
he says, I can't help this shit. I'm a cool out. I maintain my composure.
Yeah.
So it's very dope, man. But in a Busta Rhymes manner, right?
Yes.
Up next we have Sweet Thing. All right, I didn't even know that this was a single. But yeah, this is the
Mhm.
fourth single from this album, right? And
Mhm.
basically, this is just a remake of the Rufus and Shaka Khan song with the same name, right?
Mhm.
And for the life of me, right? I guess it's because I'm younger than you. I swear that this was the first time I like when I was young. I swear like this was the version that the first version that I heard of this track. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not sure to this day if it was this or the Shaka Khan version I heard at first, but I swear this was the first one, right? But I do
Mhm.
like that in this case, it's not trying to be like some sort of hip hop remake of this,
Yes.
right? It's an
Yes. Yes.
authentic
Yes. Yes.
cover
Yes.
of the
Yes.
original.
Yes.
It's some
Yes. Yes.
fantastic groovy production throughout too. I love the guitars on this track
Yeah.
here, by the way, right? Mary crushes it on this track though. She makes it her own.
Yes.
I could tell that she's paying tribute to Shaka, right? Who I imagine loved that song the moment that she heard it, right? So yeah, excellent track, right? Instant standout, right? The remix itself has a more contemporary sound to it. It has like these thick drums and these like neo soul esque keyboards in the background, but it works. But I still think that
Yeah.
this original version here is significantly better. All right,
I
so
said.
what were
I
your thoughts
said.
on Sweeting?
I said the same thing. The original, the debut album version to me was produced way better. To me, um, the remix did not move me that much at all. A little side note. A little side note about Shaka and when it came to Mary. Shaka is known to be no Shaka Khan is Shaka Khan. Like there's like literally, it's very few people you can put in classes by themselves, and Shaka is one of those people. She's one of those people that her range is stupid. It's stupid. So, but she talked a little junk about Mary's rendition of doing that song. You know, she wasn't sold on it, but personally,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
didn't know that.
she wasn't sold on it. But then again, like, I kind of get it, but I'm like you, bro. And not saying that, like, I heard Sweet Thing first from Mary. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, because at the end of the day, like, hey, we we want to discover the original artist. It's a whole bunch of songs that somebody remade that we need to go back to. But I heard Sweet Thing first from Mary, and honestly, she did a great job. She did a great job on that.
Yeah.
And she did a great job. The remix is like, okay, cool, But Sweet Thing, yeah. And it was not something that I ran to. I gotta hear it, but it was. I think she pulled it off greatly.
Yeah, she certainly did.
Yeah.
Up next we have Love No Limit, which is the 5th single from this album, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I swear that I heard this on radio back in the days. Dave Hall's beat for this is the closest thing that we get to jazz or smooth jazz, to be exact, on this album.
Yes.
I can imagine this being like on heavy rotation on like adult contemporary radio stations where this released, right?
Yeah.
But just the way, she has this melodic way of singing, especially like in the 4th and 8th bars in the first verse is very jazzy to me. She expands on that style even more in the second verse, like when she says, "And I am about to explode," and I'll never forget, like, come on, who's going my common sense back in '92. I love he actually like referenced that in a very hilarious way, right, on his remix to Breaker 1-9. I always thought that was pretty funny how he did that, right? Yeah, shout out to Common, right? One of my all-time favorite rappers, right? But the hook for this track is one of the most memorable simply because of how direct and to the point it is, Loving you every day. Don't you look no more. Day. Love without a limit.
Yes.
I know I heard that on radio somewhere, right?
Yes.
Even the bridge itself is memorable, right? That loving you is all I want to do. Right.
You, someone.
Yes. Now, if I have one teeny tiny little gripe here, it's that roughly half of the song is taken up by this extended chorus that closes off the track. Like the track is about like 5 minutes or thereabout, right? And like half of it is just this extended chorus. Now I don't mind because this chorus is just so goddamn catchy. But add a little bit more to it. This more lyrically in the end, that's just me, right? But other than that, this track is great. The remix is interesting as well because it basically uses an instrumental made of sample from Rising to the Top.
Keep Rising to the Top.
Rising to the Top, right?
Yes.
But like that beat alone, just like her vocals sound great over that beat, opinion, right? But what were your thoughts on Love No Limit, the original and the remix?
Oh, I thought you would never ask. Hey, yo, Love No Limit in the Mary J. Blige catalog is my favorite song, point blank, hands down. Still to this day.
Okay.
No more drama, all that stuff, all that good stuff. That is, oh man, her tone in that, baby, there's no need to tell me, as far as I can really recall. Like she sounded so relaxed and so believable, man. Like that is and like being a person that appreciated, melodies, whether it be played or singing wise, at a young age, man, that was like, yo, like, because I was like 18, 19 and listening to that 20 years old.
Right.
But just the beginning, I could take the beginning. All that I could take that and just keep replaying it, man. And then she comes in and sings it. And what I noticed too, with listening to her, because we're all inspired by somebody. That song right there and a couple of other songs, you can tell she was heavily inspired by Anita Baker. She was heavily inspired.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. All that. Yeah. It's like, yo, yeah. But
again, smooth jazz. That's cool.
Yes, exactly. You said it from the beginning. Smooth jazz. That record right there. And then the remix. The remix was dope because like I said, I'm from North Carolina. Jodeci is from North Carolina, and to actually hear KC doing background vocals and JoJo doing background vocals on that remix, I'm like, wow, wow. You know what I'm saying? So in saying that, man, yeah, Love No Limit, man. Love No Limit is my favorite Mary J. Blige song of all time. Straight up.
That is amazing. I wouldn't have guessed it. I would not have guessed it.
Yes,
Wow,
that's
right?
my favorite, man. My favorite song. I love that. I love that song, bro.
Yeah,
Straight up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of Jodeci, next track we have is I Don't Want to Do Anything, right? Which features
Mm-hmm.
Casey, right?
Yeah.
Now, for me, this is the album's centerpiece, right? So here, she teams up with her, well, ex-boyfriend, Casey, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is just such a powerhouse of a love ballad slash bedroom song, right?
Yeah.
Devante Swing, who is the brother of Dalvin from Jodeci, he comes through with
Mm-hmm.
his smooth, sensual, and very, very early 90s R&B instrumental
Oh yeah.
for the couple. It's
Yes.
very early 90s, like just
Yes. Yes.
aesthetically, right?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Um, and this Casey just showcases just some superb singing throughout that. I love
Mm-hmm.
how he could just be soothing at one point and then commanding at the next, right? And the same thing that
Yeah.
Mary does, right?
Yeah.
And I just love like the concept of it, right? Well, just basically like they just both in sync, right? In terms of performance, right? And just how they emphasize on the vibe of the track, right? The hook,
Yeah.
just that hook, right? This is the type of shit you should just
Yeah.
automatically tell your partner before you just get on. It's like, if loving you is all that I have to do, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do anything else. That's it. That's all. That's all you have to say. Really.
That's it. That's it. That's
There's nothing else. I'm sorry, right?
it.
But
Yeah.
concept wise, it's just basically that Casey notices that something's off with Mary, and he
Yeah.
pretty much realized that she's not getting the love that she deserves.
Yeah.
Mary's like, yeah, I'm not getting the love I deserve. And well, in the third verse,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, okay, because you don't get it. All right, I'm here now. I'm gonna give it to you. And she's like, yeah, you know what I mean? That's the song, right?
Yeah.
Remix, by the way, it incorporates more or less an alternate version of that same beat. But for me, I think that the original production stands out a little bit more than this one here, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
do anything big song, big bedroom song, big ballad on this album.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Any thoughts on this track here?
Um. What that hearing the original and you hit it right on the head that if loving you is all that I have to do, I don't want to do anything. Like it's like it was so real and convincing. You know what I'm saying? Which it was like it's R&B music, but it's still carrying on because that track was like definitely it was a new jack swing type track, but it had deeper layers and stuff.
Hmm.
I honestly think that I was thinking about this today. Devontae, he said his whole thing with songwriting was it's always that he's trying to get the girl back and he's sorry and he that blah blah blah. When you listen to the every night and day I dream of another one, it sounds very simplistic. I tell you
Yes.
something good. I don't think that I'm understood. I'm like, it's very, very simplistic. And I was ready to be like, damn, it's like really, really. But I'm like, okay, it was simple enough to get the point across because of their conviction in which they sung that shit. Because they were actually, we found out later that like they was actually going through shit. They was really, you know,
Mm.
trying to work it out and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, the original, although I thought like, okay, very simplistic, but it still worked like very well. I wrote down some. I said the remix to me, um, drum wise, the remix to me pleased my ears better. I think somebody,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, because I don't think Devontae's drum work didn't really pick up good until till the Timberland got in the camp, man. Like if you listen to the first Jodeci album, it's always like the slow side with Forever My Lady, Come and Talk to Me,
Right, right.
and then you got the fast side, which was like New Jack Swing, and it's like, man, all those songs, the beats, the drums start sounding the same. That I think the best song on that fast side is that X's We Share. But that's a whole nother podcast where we talk about Jodeci's Forever My Lady. So, but yeah, man, I think the remix drum wise, it was way more pleasing to my ears. But the original, man, man, come on, man, it was Mary and KC, and I don't think they did. I don't think they did too many joints together like that. After that,
that's true actually. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Puppy love, man. Yeah.
Right. So up next we have Slow Down, right? So if I don't want to do anything, pretty much ends with them, ends with some love making. This is kind of like what happens during it, right? So basically Mary's like, slow down, don't rush, loving ain't going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
I just love how it's sequenced right after I don't want to do anything. I think it's perfect, because that previous track is at this emotional pitch, right? And Slow Down just kind of brings it down, kind of makes it, a little midway basically, right? The keyboard-driven production is very relaxed, and it gives it a more sensual tone compared to what we heard before, right? And while this song is very, very, very straightforward, right? I do appreciate how Mary approaches the subject matter, right? So she's staying on point, right, throughout the song, right? But basically, she's singing about sex, right? But she doesn't go about it in an explicit or overly sexual manner. But basically, just telling her guy, all right, let's find the right groove or right pocket or whatever. Let's take out tank, and they literally have all night, right? So that's pretty much it. That's the song. That's it, right? And I imagine that a lot of babies were made thanks to the song.
Oh yeah.
You can thank Mary for that, right? And the song is so perfect. So flawless, apparently. There's not even a remix hit, so I don't even have to talk about remixes, right? But yeah, on Slow Down.
Yeah, loving ain't going nowhere. Slow down. Man. That right there, once again, playing that album, like I literally, I was like, damn. Every song has some type of purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like every song has some type. It was not a throwaway, and that Slow Down could easily be millions of people's favorite song. That song, hearing it again today, I was like, damn, I forgot about this song. But that's one of them songs where, like, people be talking about like records. They be talking about records, and it's not in that category, but you can say, like, you got a Billie Jean, you got Off the Wall, and you can easily say yo, Off the Wall was that joint. Everybody talking about Billie Jean, Beat It, Human Nature, rightfully so.
Oh, you mean Thriller? You mean Thriller?
Thriller, yeah. Everybody's talking about certain songs, but then you pull that song out of that album, like, yo, that Slow Down, that was the joint. Like, for me, on the Wu-Tang album, Clan in the Front is one of the
feet stomp. I love
that. Yeah. But everybody else is talking about Cream. Everybody's talking about Cream. They're talking about
they talk about singles. They're not talking about
So in saying that, that's like, loving ain't going nowhere. So that song right there, man. I've been in my vibe of driving out, and I got the CD of like 80s and 90s joints, and it's like that song Slow Down. You put that on, it's gonna take you to a great place. It's gonna take you to a great, and it's gonna make you like, you know how we move. You know how we move is when we dance and we in the car. We like, oh, this is so good. So yeah, Slow Down, man. Slow Down is one of those sleepers, man.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't,
That's a great term, sleeper. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It didn't take nothing away. It did not drop that album to like, oh, what's that? No, it was like right there. It was needed. And I think amongst a lot of people, it's probably one of their favorites that they don't talk about as much.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
Yeah.
up next we have My Love. Right now, this was a song that was pretty much unearthed from my subconscious thanks to the hook. That what you gonna do without my love, my love.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
knew that. Like like when you're young and you're just like hearing music, on radio when you're just like living life, right? But you never really stop to be like, oh, who sung this or what's going on, right? But I
Yeah.
always remember that hook. I remember that, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah. What you gonna do without
No,
my
my love. It's something about
Yeah,
that hook. It sticks.
yeah,
It really
yeah,
sticks, right?
yeah.
But anyway, but basically she's just telling her ex here, you broke my heart. I've moved on. I'm wiser now. I'm with someone else now, and here you are. Think you could get back with me. Dave Hall's production is great, and it's that sort of like
Mm,
R&B style production that you hear, you know, in the early '90s, with groups like SWV and Keith Sweat and stuff like that. It's that sort of R&B vibe, basically, right? But it's
yeah,
bouncy enough to get your head nodding from start to end. I was nodding my head through it throughout a while listening to it. Sorry.
yeah.
And Mary just owns this track though from top to bottom, right? And yeah, at the end of the day, it's just basically this anthem that one could seek out and listen to. When
Hmm.
you're just like thinking about just wanted to get over your ex, that's the song that you play, right? The
Yes.
remix to this track, by the way, is great, but it has a relatively moodier instrumental though, and an excellent verse from Heavy D of all people. I was like, all right, wait,
Mm.
what Heavy D?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I
Oh
would
yeah.
say, but I can't say for sure which one I prefer. So I will just say to you guys listening, listen to both versions, and then, maybe you could figure out which one is better to you, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
my love, I love this track. I can't believe this was just deep in my subconscious for years. That as soon as I heard that
Mm.
hook, I was like, yeah, I remember this. So
Yeah.
yeah, your thoughts on my love original remix.
Man, the original man, and man, thank you for bringing that name back up into my brain. I forgot about Dave Hall, man. Dave Hall was prominent, man, with production back in the day. Because I was writing in my notes, I was like, damn, that sound like Teddy. It sound like Teddy Riley to me. That mix,
Yes,
that
yes.
that production. But I think they kind of ran together in a way. But yeah, the original reminded me of something Teddy would do, but now as I know it's Dave Hall now. Um, the remix, the bounce was personified. It was like, okay, this first one, we got you, but now let's just it up, pick it up a little bit. But yeah, those like, cause that's the last record, right?
No, no, we actually have two more songs.
It's
Well,
two
yeah,
more.
we're,
It's
we're wrapping
really
up. We're wrapping up. Yeah, yeah, we're
no,
wrapping
no,
up.
no, 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 no. I'm not saying that in the thing. Or I'm trying to get out of here because I'm thinking like so far, like every song that we name, bro, is not a. I don't think we got to a throwaway track. Like maybe on the remix, like oh, I think that could have been better. But literally, like she made like damn near a perfect album.
I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
That's what
been
I'm
no
saying.
there's been no misses so far. It's been straight hits.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get up out of there. I'm like, damn, like what the hell? We like this? So yeah,
I
man.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
my love still keeping the torch is still burning. It's
Yes,
still
yes,
burning.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Right. So now
Mhm.
we get to the second to last track. This is called "Changes I've Been Going Through." Right. So
Oh man!
so
Wow!
I know
Wow!
you're excited to talk about this, right?
Wow!
But here's the thing. Here's a funny story for me, right? So before I forget, right? So it's funny
Yes.
that Diddy is one of the producers on this track because the opening for this track has these dramatic pianos and strings, which remind me so much
Uh-huh.
of like the production he was involved with, right? Especially with Life After Death and No Way Out. Both of those which turned 25 this year. But
Yes.
yeah, he just has this thing for these dramatic intros and whatnot, right? Where they came to his stuff, right? But
Mm-hmm.
as soon as that dusty sorry drum pattern kicks in, right? And it's the
Woo!
same one from Biz Marquis, Make the Music with Your Mouth Biz. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
hard to keep
Yes.
your head from nodding because my God, this has one of the
Yes.
best beats. this entire album, right? Now, what's funny
Yes.
about this track, right, is the hook itself. Now, this is coming from somebody who never heard this track, right, till like a few days ago. So
Mm.
my introduction to the hook, right, came from a dancehall artist by the name of Cecile, right? So she had a
Okay.
song called Changes, right? And the same, can't you see what I've been going through? Right. It's the
Uh-huh.
same thing, right? And I
Okay.
knew back then that it was from an American song, so to speak, right? But I never knew what song it was until literally a few days ago. It's crazy, right? But yeah,
Wow.
but this song knocks. It feel like more or less it feels like a darker sequel to Real Love. So like
Yes.
Mary
Yes.
just like she sounds so disenchanted here now. So she's talking about basically how she feels after this failed relationship, right?
Yeah.
She's just so expressive on this track here. She's questioning herself, like what led to the failure of this relationship. She's asking
Yeah.
questions like, was it that hard for you to show me some affection? Did I
Mm-hmm.
push you away? Was I coming on strong for you? Why can't you tell me why we could be together? Like
Mm.
that line really hit me. Like, why
Yeah.
can't you tell me why we couldn't be together? Whew, right? It's
Mm.
Mary at the most heartbroken and most vulnerable
Yeah.
in this album. And you really do feel it for her, right? And like for me, it's like the lack of communication and closure, maybe between her and her ex that really make it seem worse for her, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's sad, but the beat knocks and the lyrics are strong. The delivery by Mary is great, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, Teddy Riley, right? His production, the remix, leans more on New Jack Swing than hip hop, right? But I love how
Yeah.
it beautifully sort of maintains that melancholy vibe of this track here. So yeah,
Yeah.
great song, man. Any thoughts on changes I've been going through?
Okay. Well, so it was Teddy that actually did a remix of Changes.
Yes, he did.
Wow. 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 You know what's wild is because I wrote down in my notes that I said that this was that remix resonated at that time during that time. You know what I'm saying? The vibe of it. So that kind of explained because Teddy Teddy ruled the '90s. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
He
yeah, definitely,
yeah,
definitely, yeah.
yeah, he ruled it. That right there, man. It's like being a lover of hip hop head, and this lover of flow and everything. It's like the melody. Can't you see what I've been going through? I know people that listen back to this podcast be like he just had to sing it. Yeah, I do.
Of course you have to sing it.
Yeah, I can't, and I swear, man, because I'm telling you this thing. Thank you again for having me up here because it took me back to a great place. But let me tell you something, man. That
Those drums, man, my God. And how dusty
woo,
they sound too. Like,
that's
oh,
what I was gonna
oh,
say. Like you
yeah.
said, you hit it right on. He said those dusty drums. That's that funk, man. That's that funk. That's like, ooh, don't no, you don't want it to be, you don't want it to be pretty. No, don't make it pretty. Just like for real. And then the pianos, like that. Mary did her thing on that. Mary did her thing on that. But I'm telling you, the production held up so beautifully, like
Yes,
literally.
it did. Yes.
Yes, like literally, you can listen to Mary added to the track, and it's still, and that's that the hook. Can't you see what I've been going through? And then you think about like, damn, it's she did stuff at that time where people had to sit back, whether sober or not, smoke a joint, drink some whatever. They had to sit back like, damn, she's saying some shit right now. Can't
Yeah,
you
like I
see
said,
what I've
she's
been?
sad on
Yes.
this.
Yeah, she's saying some stuff, and I think as an artist, like as a songwriter, as a performer, that's something that I think about. Like, yo, man, I want for people to feel like, damn, I understand where he or she is coming from, but straight up, man, she added to the record beautifully. But the production, man, the choice of using that, man, oh man, because you've seen a lot of people who use they sample the same beats. That right there is just like, damn, the song was already out before. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be damned if Mary didn't just take it and just make it something else, man. Yeah, man. That's matter of fact, when I heard that today, I said, damn, Love No Limit has always been my favorite, but damn, on the low was it changes I've been going through. You know, it was like, damn.
In my mind, I assumed this was your favorite, your top favorite.
That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Yeah, I thought about that today because I'm like, damn, okay. Damn, Love No Limit. Yeah, the original version. And then I heard the other version with her, and I was like, damn, but then I heard changes, the remix. I'm like, damn, I had to check myself, but it was Love No Limit. But yeah. I love changes though.
Yeah, Changes is fantastic. So
Yeah.
now we get to the final track, finally the title track, What's a 411, right? And I just love, right? Like this is how much of a slight departure it is from what you've heard before, right? And yet it fits with that hip hop and R&B fusion aesthetic of the album, right? So essentially this is where the rapper does the rap collab with that R&B singer, right? I can't say that this is the first of its kind, but it's definitely an early example of that, right? The mid-tempo production, it's designed merely for rap, but I love how Mary works in some singing near the end of this track here, right? So Grand Puba of Brand Nubian, right? I already talked about how much I love, his album 2000, right? I love how he just kind of kicks off the track that is just basically he's just basically showing off to Mary, right? He's talking about how dope of a rapper he is, right? And it's really at the end of the day just an attempt to get Mary's digits, right? But for me, you could tell me if I'm wrong on that, E, right? For me, I always felt like there's a flow that he adopts in the last 4 bars of his verse that sounds very much like Five Dogs opening lines on Check the Rhyme, which is da 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 da. Right? It sounds very much like Check the Rhyme, but that's just me, right? But his verse is dope. I just love how smooth and confident he is on this, right? But of course, Mary comes and steals the show because she just pretty much lets pretty much lets Puba know immediately that she's been there, she's heard the shit before. What was spat earlier is far from impressive, right? She's not the type of woman who'd fall for a game like that so easy. And she pretty much lets him know that she's looking for real love, right, so to speak, right? He had to come at her with respect, right? And if she's interested, then maybe she'll give him her number. But if she's on bullshit, forget it, right? But I love that verse. I just love how confident she is on that track. She's not being overly cocky. It's just like, I heard this shit already. You're not really doing anything. Stop it, right? And above everything else, I love how she has shown that she could go toe to toe with a rapper basically, so she could spit as well as sing, right? Speaking of singing, I love that near the end she does that that all my love is all I have bit. I know Puba being Puba, he compliments her with some. He has his way of singing. It sounds dry, like
it sounds dry, but it works. It works though.
But it works. So it's like very special.
It's like he can't sing, but his aura and his swag with it is like, okay, you can let him get away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Like he's not even trying. He's just like, I'm just having fun. You know what I mean? And you could tell that both Puba and Mary had a blast working on this track, man. It's smooth, it's laid back, and just a lot of fun, man. And a hell of a great way to end this album. So E, your thoughts on What's a 411?
Well, I would say this. And rest in peace to Five Dog. I can't say surely, but like I would say, and like Fife was a Titan himself. Puba was a Titan, like straight up. So I'm thinking.
And fun fact, I mean, Brand Nubian was on Low and Terry, right?
Yes,
where Check the Rhyme came from,
Yeah, so but you never know. I mean, but that's I never thought about it like that. Like he was both of them.
I'm not saying he bit. I'm not saying he bit Pfeiffer. I'm just saying that flow, that cadence is very similar.
Of that. Yeah. I just want to add on to that because I never thought about it like that. But I was like, after I listened to that. Later on the day, I was like kind of cleaning up in the kitchen. I was like, and it was that line kept sticking out to me. I'm Mary Blige, and you just ain't running up in me. And I'm like, she just so she was so smooth. She was so smooth with it. And like I say, once again, once again, hearing Pooh-Bah like straight up um to the people who was in the know at that time, like Pooh-Bah was that guy. He was that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was that guy because hold on. So he featured on the original and the remix album, right?
Yes, yes, he was.
Yeah. That doesn't happen. I don't think that happens just by, oh, I like you, man. You're a cool dude. Like Pooh-Bah.
Well, actually, no. I made a mistake. Actually, Biggie was there.
That's right.
And it's
Yeah.
funny because he actually had part of his line, sorry, his bars from Just Dreaming, right? He's talking
Yeah.
about all the chicks he wants to sex, right? And then he kind of ends with oh well maybe not Mary because I know Mary has a head on straight, so to speak, right? So yeah, it
Yeah.
incorporates part of that verse, which I thought was pretty interesting, actually.
Yes. Yeah, man. It's yeah, that right there, I think in doing that, and I think the only way that could have been totally pulled off, and I keep saying pulled off, and sometimes saying pulled off means that you faking it till you make it, but it's music is so delicate. I believe that, and this is a perfect example by using Pooh and what he did with Mary. If Mary was not of that ilk, if Mary was, and no diss to these people, if Mary was Shantae Moore, if Mary was
Huh.
Tony Braxton, if Mary was what's her name, Shanice Wilson, if
Right,
Mary,
right.
and I'm not taking nothing away from them because and see, first thing when people hear this, probably say, oh no, so they grew up
No,
in
no,
the
no. I'm kind of seeing your logic, but continue. Yeah,
yeah. Some people may be like, okay, well, no, so and so grew up in the inner city. No, it's not about growing up in the inner city. It's about hip hop. When it comes to hip hop, and I had this conversation with a couple of white cats. In particular, I say white because I want to say that because I believe that hip hop is one of the, if not the biggest genres of music that brings so many races together. You know what I'm saying? But we had a conversation where hip hop is super duper mainstream. You don't have anything marketing, TV, whatever. Hip hop is involved with the music, the style, the dress, and
yeah,
everything, right? But it's a certain conversation that mainstream people have. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. It's getting hot in here, and oh, that was so dope. And then you have a conversation where myself and Matthew talk about the horns and straighten it out. And the mainstream person probably like, straighten it out. What's that? Is that a new sitcom? You know what I'm saying? And no diss to them, but it's a certain conversation that you have when you follow. Like you have people who consume hip hop and then they let it go, and then you have people that hip hop culture went into us, and it's a part of our life now. So going back to Mary was able to do what she did because she was bopping on the street. She was already bopping to that. Ooh, she was already loving how Rakim was flowing. She was loving how Kumo D was rocking. She was loving how these
right.
cats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying those Shantae Moores wasn't listening to that stuff, but it's a certain cadence that everybody doesn't embody when it comes to singing over hip hop tracks. Like Whitney Houston is by far one of the most beautiful voices to ever record. Rest in peace. But Whitney Houston's cadence, even when she tried to get on some type of hip hop stuff, it was still okay. Now don't do that. Go sing.
Yeah.
I will,
Go back to your comfort zone.
yeah, I will always love you. I wish to this day, I wish that Whitney would have like went into a different register and said, because I believe she got to a point where it was just about, She was in the fast lane. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, Mary was able to do what she did because she was and is a part of. She's a part of hip hop history from a
That's right.
soul singer's perspective. She's a part of it. She's a first. She's a first. You know, the queen of hip hop R&B. The queen, Mary J. Blige, all day,
Yeah,
every day.
yeah, and
Straight up.
for me, this song pretty much cements it. Like, you know, it's not
Yes.
just just singing over hip hop slash R&B beats. No, I'm actually
Yes.
like rapping
Yes.
alongside a rapper. You know what I mean? That's what it is. You know?
Yes, yeah, yes, and
Yeah.
pulled it off great. I believe Pooh Bah wrote it. I believe Pooh Bah wrote it. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
believe he did. I believe he did. The cadences, the count, but man, they all did that. They
Right,
all
right.
did it back in the day.
And lastly, it doesn't feel out of place. It totally fits with everything that
Oh
she's been
yeah,
talking about, you know, all the heartbreak and, you know, looking for real love and all that kind of stuff. It fits, but just in a more, you know, upbeat kind of lead back kind of way, you know what I mean? So
yes.
again, great way to end this album here.
And the production, the production of it was so
Smooth that
intriguing,
do do do
smooth
do
and intriguing,
do.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. All
Yes, man.
right, so in closing here, again, folks, you know, this has been, you know, like I gave this album a few listens, right? But yeah, this was my official entry into Mary J. Blige's discography, and no lie, I just had a blast listening to this man. Even though I
Nice.
do have, you know, my life slightly higher above this, you know, just merely because of how mature and how she just put herself like just entirely on it, right? And lean a lot towards soul music, you know, just bridging that gap between, you know, the
Yeah.
70s or the 90s and whatnot. Here was just, you know, hip hop was just like, you know, burgeoning. It was becoming commercial, if you will. It was becoming much
Yeah.
more recognized, but it, you know, it started to have its own grooves and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
um and that's for someone like Mary J. Blige and her creative team to say, okay, here's what we're gonna incorporate R&B and hip hop. We're just gonna merge the two together, and let's just make beautiful music out of it, right? But we need someone to lead the charge. We need someone with great vocals, with who
Yes.
strong songwriting and all that kind of stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, Mary just came, I guess, out of nowhere and just more or less crushed it, right? With each and every track here, right?
She
So
did.
I mean, this album is a classic, so I really shouldn't rate it. But in the interest of this show here, I will. So I will go with a lighter, decent 4.5 out of 5. Man, this is a bona classic. This, yeah, well deserving of its, you know, classic status. You know, to this day, Mary is still doing her thing. You know, so shout out to Mary. You know, keep doing your thing. And
Hmm.
just in closing, I know this album, you know, more or less have inspired many, many artists, whether they are in hip hop or R&B as well too, right? So yeah, that's just a testament to how forward thinking, how progressive this album was, man. So if you haven't
Yeah.
listened to 411, if you want to know what the 411 is, yeah, definitely check this album out, man. So
Please,
your
please.
last words, and you know, if you want to rate it, you can rate it too.
Man, look, I don't think it's really like a well. What's your rating? What's it? One to five or 1 to 10?
Yeah, mine's 1 to 5. If you want to be a little bit more, you want to have a little bit more breathing room, I would say, you know, 1 to 10. You know.
Um, man, you know what? I'm gonna be like the host. I am not going to rate this album. I've spoken. I don't know. I don't want to do
Copped
that.
out, you copped out.
I copped out. I copped out. Well, um, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
No, 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 no. It's fine. It's a classic, guys.
It
Yeah,
is it is
like us
it
giving
is
us giving the album a rating really doesn't matter. But I just threw one in for the sake of it, right? But yeah,
yes, but you know what? You know what? Okay, I know. I'm a Cancer man, so I'm spontaneous. I'm in and out. I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna give this album, and I'm gonna go on the 10 scale.
all right.
On the 10 scale, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I'm giving it a 9.5,
I can live
and
with that. Yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm giving it a 9.5, and I did not give it. I didn't give it a solid 10. I didn't give it a solid 10. Really, to be honest, was because of as much as I feel that if loving you is all I gotta do, that's a classic record. I love the record. I think the conviction was there and everything was beautiful. I'm going back to the, even though it worked, the simplistic way of KC's verse, which he sung the hell out of it. But it was like, and truth be told, even and I didn't say this when we talked about it. I love the record. It grew on me heavily because I was a super Josie fan. But the production, the production was cool. It was cool. It was cool.
But it just didn't wow you, right?
It didn't, man. And I'm a diehard Devontae fan and Josie. Out of all the records, I can say. Now, I know it sounds crazy because when I hear that song now, and I heard it today, it's like, man, yeah. But I still remember, like, I ain't saying that you got to be astronomical with your lyrics, but it was kind of simple. And then it's kind of like the music was kind of, it was all over the place. But then again, it's a certain genius to Devontae, but yeah, I give it 9.5. 9.5.
Right. I could understand the criticism of that track though. I think it's because that's why I call it the centerpiece, because of just how grand it was, right? It was like again this grand, love ballad, right? So yeah.
Yes. Boom! It sounded like it had like a little explosion and boom.
Yeah. Especially especially in the bridge. Just how that production rises at that particular point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit is going down, Yeah.
Yes. Now, what I would say, even though, like I say, now I hope people don't take that I don't like the song. It was just certain things I didn't care for. But when they go the unison, loving you is all that I have to do. I don't want to do it. And then when they come in with the harmonies, loving you is all that I have to. That was like, oh shit. Yeah. So it's some beautiful things on that record. But listen to that verse. Even though KC sung it very well, I love his voice, one of one voice. But every night and day, I dream of another way to tell you something good. I don't think that I'm under. But then again, let me stop. Now, I'm a writer. And some people may be like, yeah, see, you hear what he's saying? So let me stop. I don't want to be that.
No,
but yeah,
it's your
I thought it was simplistic.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it was really simplistic.
Maybe a little a couple of it needed probably like one or two rewrites, right? Make
Yeah.
Complex,
Yeah. But then again,
I understand. Yeah.
But then again, who am I? A great majority of the world is probably like, shit, I want that. I don't need. So yeah. So I want to give it next time we do it in 20 years. I'll probably give it a 10 by that time.
Yeah. Happy 20th anniversary to What's a 411. Yeah.
Happy 20th anniversary, man. What is it, 20th or 30th? 30th, right?
Oh, sorry, 30th. Right. 30th.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Right.
Man. 3 decades, man. 3 decades.
Yeah. So imagine, 10 years from now, right? That's just amazing to me, man.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming through for this. We had a blast talking about it. I really want to hear from your perspective, just being around at that time and just hearing, music like that, in literally around you, so it's a great little contrast to like just me, just living my life in the 90s and just hearing the radio on and hearing Mary on the radio, like, who is this? So I just loved how we just got to kind of just express our perspectives, But yeah, and I really had a blast listening to this album, and I will make the effort to check out her other projects, including Good Morning Gorgeous. I'm definitely gonna check that out. I haven't heard any singles from it as yet. But still, I will give it a listen for sure. Cause it's me.
I heard, I forgot the name. It was something about "Come See Me" or something. She got a song out with with Fabulous. Fabulous is on the song, and he's like doing he's starting the song, man, and I think it's dope. It almost got me thinking like, damn, is she working with Puff again? Because because Fabulous he does this rhyme in the beginning that goes like, it wasn't just like a 6 bar, 8 bar. Like he goes for a good minute before she comes in.
Okay.
Yeah. They're on a beach. Like they're on the beach and she's looking. Oh man, Mary, Mary's a beautiful woman, man.
I know.
Oh right? yeah. What's the 411? yeah, she's a beautiful woman, man. So yeah, man. I need to check that out too, man. But Matt, man, thank you always, man. I love this is something, man. I like I said, I want to keep this going, man. Whenever you want to chat it up, man.
And one day we should actually talk about a rap album, right? This is actually the second R&B album we've talked about, but
yeah, we can do that.
It's all good, you know. Yeah.
I would love to do. I mean, if you want to take it back, it's a lot of things I would like to do with rap, but I would love to do Run DMC's first album. I would love to do Tupac's first album.
Or Tupacalypse Now.
Tupacalypse Now. Yeah, I have a favorite song. One of my favorite songs. Probably Tupac got a lot of them, but one of my all-time favorite songs that's on that album. Oh,
all right. Please don't tell me what it is. Please don't tell me what it is. I want to be surprised when we get to that point. Most definitely, man. You know, we've got to do another one of these. So, you know, once again, thanks so much for coming through, and you know, to you guys listening here, thanks so much for listening. You know, and of course, to Mary J. Blige. I mean, thank you so much for all these years of great music. You know, literally for 30 years of music, man. And here's hoping that we get, you know, much more, you know, more years of great music from her in the near future, man. Yes. And that's pretty much about it. So until the next one, guys, take care, stay safe in and out. Peace.